Alright then, so we've seen now how to create a flat list to cycle through data and output a list of data over here. That's absolutely fine, but what I'd like to do now is somehow attach some kind of on-press event to each one of these items. So we've seen before how we can use buttons and attach an on-press prop to a button, but we can't do that with any old component. We can only do that to buttons and a couple of different ones as well. We can't do that to a text component. So, I mean, you could turn these into buttons, but like I said before, we can't actually add a style prop to buttons. So then they're all going to look like buttons and not this. So how can we get around this? How can we make these pressable? Instead of using a button, we can use something else. We can use something called a touchable component. So what I'm going to do is first of all import that, and it's called Touchable Opacity, and there's several different touchable components. You can see we've got touchable highlight, touchable native feedback, etc. We'll see a couple of these as we go forward. For now, I'm going to import touchable opacity, and what that means is when we touch something, it's going to kind of go opaque. It's going to fade out a little bit to show the user that they've touched it. So now we've imported this, what can we do with it? Well, we can surround whatever element or whatever component we want to add a touch event to with the touchable opacity component. So I could come down here and say touchable opacity like so and close that off, and I'm going to nest this text component inside the touchable opacity one. So what we're saying here is, look, I want you to make whatever is inside this tag touchable, hence these things. So now we can add an on-press handler to this component. We can't do it on many other components like text or view, but we can do it on touchable opacity. And the cool thing is, if we wanted to add a style prop to this, we can do. Now, I'm not going to do that in this instance, but we have styles here anyway, so it's fine. Now, what I'm going to do is pass in a function into this, and then this function is going to call up a new function, which we'll define up here. And we're going to call this press handler. And we're going to pass in the ID of the current item. So I'll say item.id, because remember, we're cycling through the data here. And for each item, we're returning this JSX. So we're using this touchable opacity component on every single item. And we're attaching an on-press handler to every single item, which fires an anonymous function, which then calls this other function and passes in the item ID. So let me create that. I'm going to say up here, const press handler, and set that equal to a function. It takes in the ID, which we pass to it right here. And all I'm going to do for now is just log to the console this ID. So console.log the ID. Now, we've not logged anything to the console yet, so we'll see how this works in a second. But let me just save this now. And once this reloads, I should be able to click on one of these. Notice the opacity thing. If I click, you can see it goes a little opaque, fades out a little bit, and I let go. It just tells me that I've clicked it. Now, we should see now the ID logged to the console. But where is the console? Because it's not like a web browser. We don't have a console over here in the device. What we do have, though, is a console over here. So you can click on your device that you're previewing the project in, and you should be able to see the console. And right there, I can see 1, which is the ID of the item I clicked. If I click on something else like Toad, then the ID should be 6. So let me see that. And we can see 6 down here now. Awesome. So now we're reacting to click events by using this touchable opacity component instead of a button, right? And that means that we can use our own styles for items inside the touchable opacity. It just makes it a little more flexible than a button. So then, we're adding this press handler, and at the minute we're just logging out the ID to the console. But what I'd like to do is delete whatever item we click on from the data. So to do that, let's come down here, and we need to use the function setPeople. So that's this function right here. And inside here, what we'd normally do is pass in the new value. So it would be an array of whatever the new value is going to be, whatever object should be in that array. So every object except the one we click. But we are actually going to depend on the current state of people when we use this. And when we depend on the state when we're updating it, it's better or rather safer and more reliable, to pass a function into this which returns the new state, and the function automatically takes the old state or the current state of the item. So I'm going to call this prev people for previous people, and I'm going to make it so it's not all in capitals. Prev people. Okay, so it takes the state currently, and then we're going to use that to update the state, and we're going to return the new state right here. So I'm going to return prev people dot filter, because we're going to filter one of the items out, the item with this ID. So the filter method takes in a function as a parameter or an argument, and that function takes the individual person that we're currently iterating through, and what we're going to do is return person ID is not equal to the ID. So what we're doing here is passing a function, an arrow function, to the filter method, and when the function fires for each item in the array, because that's what a filter method does, it fires a function for each item in the array, it's going to take that individual item, so first this, then this, then this, and then it's going to return a Boolean. And that Boolean is based on this check. We're checking, does this current item that we're cycling through, does the ID of that not equal to the ID that we pass through, whatever we click on? If they don't equal, so if, for example, I click on Toad and we're currently cycling through that, they don't equal, then what we're doing is returning true. And if we return true, we keep that item in the array. If we return false, then we filter that item out of the array. So if we click on Toad and it cycles through this, it gets to Toad, this ID is 6, and is it not equal to 6? Well, that's false. So we filter that out of the array. So this returns us a new array without the one that we clicked on. Hope that makes sense. So let me save this and refresh. We should see this work over here. So if I click on Luigi, then it goes, click on Mario, and it goes Yoshi, it goes Toad, it goes, etc. Okay, so there we go, my friends. That's how we can use this touchable opacity component to wrap other components and make them pressable.